After years as a firefighter and a nurse, Dave decided to put the plug in the jug. He's now over 4 years sober. His story, what happened, what life was like, and what it was before, coming up.
Open my heart to sing, taking the darkness inside, revealing your light, restoring hope. Open my eyes to see the world through different eyes, revealing your light, restoring hope.
All right, welcome. It is another day. We are thankful that the good Lord has given us sobriety. Maybe it's drugs, maybe it's alcohol, maybe it's just life's hurts, habits, and hang-ups. But thanks to Powell, CDC, and the incredible team down there, one more person today, maybe two, maybe you, will have an opportunity to learn the spiritual program of the 12 steps and discover that life really is better without alcohol, drugs, or all of those things that we put to fill that hole, whatever you want to call it. I call it the God hole. You don't have to call it that. I'm okay with that. I call it the God hole, that for years I poured alcohol and drugs and lust and shame and guilt and just whatever I could into that hole to try to make me feel whole. And it didn't work until I finally said, enough's enough. I have been in pain long enough. I have caused my family pain long enough. And I am sick and tired of being sick and tired. And what we do on Restoring Hope Live on Recovery Mondays is we introduce you to some of those awesome people that have taken the time in their life to say enough is enough. I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired. Now, the thing, and my co-host, of course, Lila Stafford from Powell CDC. Lila, nice to have you here.
Thank
Sorry
you.
You've been sick.
Yep.
Think you're back 100% now?
No, I'm not 100%, but I'm a lot better.
Yeah.
Just left with a runny nose. So
Yeah, okay, good. When there are opportunities, when Lila and I get an opportunity to have a guest here that really needs the second A in a 12-step program, the anonymity. And the following guest is one of those people. And so if you're watching this on a webcast, here is what you'll see when our guest, Dave, is talking. Yep, that looks like Dave to me. And what you have to do, well, you don't have to, I guess, but what Lila and I ask you to do is just trust us. We're not trying to pull a blanket over your eyes or anything like that. There's just some people that want to be anonymous, but yet they take the time to come on and share their story because they know after the years they've been, the few 24 hours they've been in, as we like to say, that there is great, great value in someone else hearing their story. Many, many times the nows, nuggets of wisdom, N-O-W, the nuggets of wisdom that Dave, that's what we're going to call him, pours out through his story, you may or may not know what's coming. Dave may not know what's coming, but God does. And there's something that Dave will say today that will touch your heart, that will help you understand why it's important for you to help somebody get sober, why it's important that you get sober. And by the way, I don't really think you're probably the person with the drug or alcohol problem. And I mean that. I'm not being facetious. But you know somebody. And that I do know. That I can guarantee. Now, you may say, no, Mac, I don't think I know anybody that abuses alcohol. Well, you do. You just don't know they abuse alcohol. If you run down that church pew on Sunday morning, a good 3 out of 10 of you are suffering with alcohol problems. There's another 2 with drugs, probably marijuana, maybe painkillers. And then there's another one, the 6th one, that their drugs are, they don't even know that they're abusing drugs. They have a doctor that writes prescriptions because that's a form of revenue for doctors. And you don't even know that you're so high on your mood enhancer, your antidepressant, that you don't even understand reality anymore. You say, no. I've been on this medicine for years, and I can't even tell the difference anymore. Yeah, stop taking it. Well, don't stop taking it. But if you want to think you're Superman or Superwoman, stop taking it. Now, after that 6th person, and you've heard me say this before, the 7th person is having an affair. Stop it. It destroys children and lives. The 8th one's into pornography. The 9th one is so scared So scared that everything they say will be taken wrong. So scared that they're unlovable. So scared that at any given moment their world will fall apart. And they grasp for a relationship with something higher than themselves. And the 10th one, you're coming next. So every single person, a church should be a hospital for the sick, not a cruise ship for the well. It may be filled with saints, the other side of heaven, but this side of heaven, we're pretty messed up. And Dave has made the he's made the offer today to come on and share his story. So, Dave, I greatly appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, you bet. And I'll tell you what I always tell somebody. There's somebody out there listening today, and they're going to hear something you have to say. You don't know what it is. I don't know what it is. Lila's pretty smart. She may know what it is. But God knows what it is.
Yes.
And when that gets said, and maybe it's already been said, but when that gets said, what's the old thing from the movie with when the bell rings, an angel gets his wings? Mm-hmm. Well, when you'll say something today, and there'll be a little bell go off in somebody's head, and they'll go, "Oh, that's it."
Could be my head too.
It could be. The bell goes off in your head. That's right. So we appreciate you being here.
Thank you.
So you've been sober since the 11th of March, 2011, 3/11/11.
Correct.
And may I ask how old you are?
62.
So you drank. Well, when did you take your first drink?
Well, actually, my journey began when I was about 14 years old.
See?
Here's the reason we say that. Almost always, it's 14.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That was definitely a turning point.
Yeah. It's crazy, and it was.
But you know, when you meet a 13 or 14-year-old, you just look at them, you think, oh, they're such babies. I mean, they think that they're really grown up, but that is true.
Well, and that's why you guys have started the the program for young folks.
Yeah.
With Annie, because it's so important to hit these kids when they're there. But seriously, Dave, is it 8 out of 10 that we ask what age, and it comes back 14? Mm-hmm. And I didn't notice it at first. It was Lila that noticed it.
Yeah.
And now it's consistent.
And actually, hindsight is 20/20, because when I look back, I had all the conditions were already there for alcoholism and drug addiction.
Because of family and parents
because of
and
family,
genetics?
How insecure I was and immature for being that age, and just a whole sort of reasons.
So tell me about growing up. And remember, you don't have to use names. You don't have to use specific things. But tell me about the household that you grew up in, the alcoholism that was around you, the aunts, uncles, whoever it was.
Mm-hmm. Well, I grew up with my mom and dad and a sister. And actually, in my immediate family, I was the only one that was blessed with this disease. And And although my father came from a family of 9 brothers and sisters, and every one of them were alcoholics. My mom's side, she had a couple brothers and sisters that were alcoholics. So it was in the genes, if you will. But a lot of what happened or transpired was because of the guilt, the shame, the remorse I felt even at that age. And that's when I first found alcohol and drugs.
What were you feeling guilty of?
I was feeling very inept at that very young age. I didn't think I was good looking enough for the girls, and I didn't come from a family of a lot of money, and people would look down on me for that. And just an array of reasons why I felt so insecure with myself.
You were born in 53?
Correct.
53, okay. And here in central Iowa?
Yes, I was born in Des Moines.
Okay. Mm-hmm. What kind of kid were you before you were 14?
Actually, I grew up, I had a lot of friends. I was not shy of any friends, but I always felt different than them. And I felt very unworthy to even be with anybody.
Unlovable?
Unlovable, definitely.
Okay.
Yes.
How many brothers and sisters?
I have one sister.
One sister. Mm-hmm. Does she suffer from this disease?
No, she does not.
Wow. No. Isn't that
Are you
weird?
the only child in the family who had that feeling of not really belonging? Or do you think you had enough love from your parents? Or
well,
I'm wondering where
I grew up in an Italian family, and my grandparents were immigrants on both sides. And both of my parents were always there for me. And this is not, I'm not trying to be critical of them in any way, because I certainly believe they did the best they knew how with what they had to work with. They too came from a family where they felt inept, insecure, and so it just kind of
So that message
that message was carried down.
Yeah.
And I could never. It wasn't right to express my emotions or my feelings, or even to have those feelings.
Yeah.
So it was.
Well, I think it was more that way in the 50s. You didn't express your feelings, and then being a gentleman, men are just taught not to express their feelings.
Right.
So you had a double whammy there.
Yeah, I did. I did.
What did your father do?
He was a meat supervisor for, then it was Hinky Dinky stores.
Okay.
Oh,
Yeah.
I remember Hinky Dinky.
Yeah, Hinky Dinky.
And did your mom work outside the home?
No, she was a homemaker for
Okay.
the most part. Mm-hmm.
All right. Now, was she an alcoholic?
No.
No.
She never, I don't think she ever took a drink in her life.
Okay. And your father?
My father liked to drink on Sundays.
Oh.
And at weddings or special occasions, but he was very responsible. He knew when to quit, and so it never affected him that way.
Dave is my guest today, former firefighter and retired nurse. We're going to talk about that a little bit. Sober a little bit over 4 years, and 62 years old. So you waited till you were 58 years old.
Correct.
Well, don't tell me
Correct.
why yet, because I want to hear
I
about
won't.
that. But I do want you to tell me about that first drink.
I remember actually the day that it happened, when I took that first drink to feel no pain. And it was the day that my uncle, who was 38 years old, actually died suddenly. And I was very close to him.
Was he an alcoholic?
And I would say so.
Okay.
Yes, I would say so. But it was such a shock that I remember going to my mom's house, because he lived next door to my mom. And it was 7 o'clock in the morning. We got the call. And before I could, venture over to see him, I remember taking the Canadian Club out of the cupboard and drinking it.
Isn't that interesting that you, at that age, you knew to take that to calm yourself down or to soothe yourself? Mm-hmm. It's interesting.
Yes.
You were obviously incredibly upset.
I was devastated. I was scared to death. I thought everybody around me was going to start dying.
Oh.
They say that the drink may come on Monday, but you've been thinking about it for weeks previous.
Absolutely.
Would you say that was your case at age 14?
Yes, because I did have some other incidents prior to age 14 when I would sneak off with my friends and we would do nothing but drink. So the experiences were already there. They were already implanted. And I knew that alcohol could solve my problems.
Or so you thought.
Or so I thought.
Well, they do for a while,
They do.
and then it doesn't work anymore.
And then it turns on you.
Yeah.
So, was your uncle an alcoholic that died? Did I ask that already?
I would classify
did.
him as an alcoholic, yes.
But his death didn't have to do with his alcoholism,
No.
or did it? Okay.
No.
So you're devastated.
Mm-hmm.
Your favorite uncle has passed away. I take it this is your mother's brother.
Correct.
And so you took the Canadian Club, which was Dad's drink for Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
Did anybody find out?
As I recall, I think people were so upset and so absorbed in the shock of everything that was going on. I don't remember anybody confronting me or anything like that.
Do you remember thinking, "Oh, I can't get caught," or?
Yeah, I was worried that I was going to get caught, but on the other hand, I wasn't worried because I didn't care at that point in time.
Right.
The alcohol had already taken effect, and I really didn't care what was going to happen. I had a defiant streak, you might add.
Oh, do you think?
Yeah, a little bit.
Dave is my guest today, sober, 62 years old, sober since March 11th of 2011. And when we come back, we'll discuss what happened after that first drink. What happened that made him pick up another one and another one and another one, and then how it became perhaps a daily or weekly or whatever it was. It was enough to put Dave in alcoholism for 40 years. About? Yeah.
Absolutely.
All right, we're coming back. Lila Stafford in the house. I'm J. Michael McCoy. If I haven't told you lately, thanks for listening. I love this job. Couldn't do it without you. Right here on Recovery Monday, brought to you by the good folks at Powell CDC and RestoringHopeLive.com.
A father who is headed toward another heart attack. A woman who struggles daily with diabetes and her memory. A boy whose headaches keep him out of school. A mother who one morning discovers a lump. A girl whose condition defies diagnosis. You come to us because you need answers, but you also need more. You need understanding of what you're going through. You need comfort. You need to be treated as an individual, not a condition. You need to be included in your own care. You are the point of everything we do. That's why we're changing to Unity Point Health. It's a model of care that will help us work better together, where the physician who knows you best takes the lead, coordinating your care through every step, from the hospital to specialists to rehabilitation to health services in the home and in the community, to making sure the treatments are effective. By working as a team, we surround you with care, helping you manage your health and your conditions, guiding you to making better choices and living a healthier life. The point of Unity is you. Unity Point Health.
Hey, psst. Let me let you in on a little secret. You ready? Always try to do business with people, not places, especially if you seek honest Christian business people. And when it comes to my car, I really need to trust who's working on it. Now, my family is so blessed. A few years ago, we found a family-owned automobile repair shop that operates as a Christian business also. Open, honest, reliable, trustworthy. It's AMCO on Hickman Road in front of Kmart, and it's a family-owned Christian operating business. This family treats your car as if it was their car. Everything from oil changes to transmission repair and everything in between. So the next time you feel the need to be at peace with your choice of who you can trust with your car, give AMCO on Hickman a chance to serve you. And tell them Max sent you.
Credit cards are like grandkids. They love you, sometimes get out of control, and it's fun to get a new one. Who can stop them from piling on?
Hi, I'm Tom Coates with Consumer Credit of Des Moines. At the end of the day, you can return the grandkids, but you're stuck paying off bad credit card debt. We'll help you put the fun back into using credit cards responsibly. Right, kids?
Yeah! If you need help getting credit cards off your back, call Consumer Credit of Des Moines.
From the RE/MAX Real Estate Concept Studios, this is Webcast One Live.
Restoring hope, open my heart to sing, taking the darkness inside, revealing your light, restoring hope.
Welcome back. Recovery Monday, brought to you by the good folks at Powell CDC. The thing that is so important for you to realize, if you're listening to this program, is that you now know people who are in the recovery world. You know, so many times we sense that our child or our spouse or our parent or the pastor or somebody in our small group or the person in the cubicle next to us, there's something different about them. And then all of a sudden it gets linked to alcohol. You don't know anything about alcoholism. You think those people are homeless with a brown paper bag under the bridge. I know. That's what I used to think. I couldn't be an alcoholic. I've got a job. I've got a family. I'm functioning. I don't get up in the morning and shake and have to drink. When I get home at the end of the night, I have one, then two, and then three, and then 11. But I get up the next morning and I'm functioning fine. The pastor gets up on Sunday morning and gives his sermon. Oh, couldn't be anything wrong with him. And then there's a behavior, or as we call it in this program, an ism, alcoholism. We see that isms. What are some of the isms that people suffer from, Lila?
Well, it's more like their behaviors, being self-centered.
Self-centered?
Selfish, the world revolves around them.
Confidence the size of a pea, and the insecurity
Yeah.
the size of New York City.
Yeah.
And you say, well, I know people like that, but they don't drink, don't they? Maybe they just don't drink in front of you. I got an OWI in 2001, but I didn't quit drinking until 2010. I stopped drinking because I didn't want to drink and drive anymore. And I swore I would never drink and drive again. And guess what? I didn't. But I still drank for over 9 years in the quiet solitude of my basement. I continued to drink. And that's when it got really out of hand. So you may not see the bottle, smell the liquor, but you may discover that there's a behavior there that just doesn't seem normal. It doesn't seem right. As we listen to Dave's story today, you may hear more of those isms, more of those characteristics, more of those behaviors.
You know, Mac, you just said something that brought I don't know if this is true or not. I just heard it one time that people that drink at home have problems with their internally, things to do with their personality and stuff. And people that drink at bars have social problems and need to learn how to deal, or their problems come from trying to fit in with other people.
Yeah,
That was
absolutely.
interesting.
I mean,
Yeah.
I was really never a social drinker. I never enjoyed drinking. What I enjoyed was being drunk. The process of getting there was a pain in the butt. It's like taking a vacation to Colorado. I hate the drive, especially through Nebraska.
Yeah.
But once I got there, it was fun.
Yeah, I used to feel the same way, except I drank for social reasons. I never drank at home, never even had it at home.
Oh yeah, no, I once I got my second OWI, I got one in '94. Remember, and you don't know this, Dave. I started drinking when I was 34. It was 1994, and I started drinking then. I had never drank before. Oh, I had. I guess I shouldn't say never. I had this or that, but I'm the guy that'd have a gin and tonic, and when I got up from the table, it was half full still.
Oh, wow. I can't relate to that.
Yeah, no, I know. And then I had an identity crisis in '94. I had my identity and what I did for a living, and I sold the place that I was at, and I was no longer the guy I thought I was. And so I'll just pour myself into a bottle and find him in there. You know how that goes. All right, so 14, Little Italy, South Side. Growing up, you had your first drink over the tragedy of the loss of an uncle at a much too young of an age, and sounds like it was sudden.
It was.
Tell me about high school then. Tell me about the next 4 years.
I wish I could recall my high school days. Looking back, it was tragic because all I remember concentrating on in high school was how we were going to get our next drink and what we were going to do on the weekends.
Yeah.
I wasn't much of a student. And to be perfectly frank, I don't know how I graduated high school. And I went to Dowling High School.
Okay.
Back when they still had the priests and the nuns, and it was, like a military school. But how I got through that time was just amazing. I was so wrapped up in myself. I was so wrapped up with my fears, with being so. I was very unstable. I didn't think anyone wanted to be around me. I didn't think I had anything to offer anybody. So my only escape was to use the alcohol. And shortly thereafter, I started using pain pills. And then I felt a part of the group.
Now, how did you get into the pain pills? Legally?
Legally.
Okay.
I had an appendicitis attack.
Okay.
And I ended up having my appendix out. And back in those days, they treated you with a lot of drugs for even a simple thing as an appendix. And I realized almost instantaneously, the effect that those drugs had on me. And then coupled with alcohol, I felt like I had owned the world.
So you're in high school. You got through high school. Did you go to college then?
Not right off. I finally did, but...
What did you do right after high school?
I was working. I worked downtown here for about 10 years. And, I never had problems with holding a job or, keeping a job. I maintained it well. It was just that I couldn't concentrate on anything more during the day than what I was going to do that night.
Yeah.
And that was drinking and using.
You know, a lot of people don't understand that. And I didn't understand it until I got into a 12-step program and I realized that I did plan for my drinking.
Oh, yeah.
Do I have a full bottle at home? Do I have two
I
bottles?
was a Jekyll and Hyde.
Yeah.
I have
from the
people
very
do that
start.
in treatment. I have this chart, and it tells every day of the week, and then down the left side it tells every hour of the day. And I just have them fill in when they were either thinking about using, when they did use, when they were picking up, whatever it was. Anyway, they could see in black and white in a week's time how much time was consumed using or thinking or selling or getting or whatever.
Yep.
And then when you come to Powell, it's like, okay, you can't do that anymore. And now look at this sheet. You know, how are you going to fill this time?
I had a lot of time, an enormous amount of time for a good number of years doctor shopping.
Oh, yeah.
And back then it was quite easy because nothing was on the computer and they didn't have state and federal records then to keep track of you. Wow. But my days were consumed with how many pills I had left in that bottle, how long they would last, and who and when I would have to contact another doctor.
Now,
that was my life.
When did you get married? At what age?
I was married in 1976, I think about 28.
So where
27, something like that.
was your addiction when you got married?
Oh, it was full-blown addiction.
But she's not an alcoholic.
Absolutely not.
So did she become your caretaker?
She was my caretaker. Yes,
Your designated
she was.
driver?
Yes, yes.
Didn't she know that you were alcoholic?
She, God bless my wife. She is, we've been married for 39 years. And when she met me, she kept telling me, I'd never quite met anyone that liked to party like you. Because we never went out to a restaurant or to a movie. We always go to bars.
Okay.
And she thought that was kind of a little strange. But that's what I did.
Yeah.
And then when we weren't at bars, my time was consumed with finding doctors, making sure I had pain pills, and making sure I had plenty of booze. That was
I
that
get
was our
anxiety
relationship.
listening to you.
So do I.
Yeah, well, calm down. Don't get upset. But you're right. That's what we do.
Yeah.
You must have been really fun, though. Something
she
attracted her.
did tell me that. She goes,
Yeah.
you have a lot of fun. You people like to be around you. And then in my own mind, I would think, yeah, but that's because I've got the alcohol and drugs. You wouldn't like me if I was sober. And
Any other drugs?
no, it was mainly pain pills and alcohol.
Okay.
I'd tried marijuana a few times here and there, but that was not a real big issue.
Isn't that funny? I just think that's funny. I think I don't know. I just think it's funny how we are so into one thing and can't do anything right, and then this thing. I have a very addictive personality, but I can't gamble.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I've tried. I've tried to be a gambler, and I just can't.
I like to gamble too.
Yeah.
Now, I have a friend who is really into eating whole foods, and she won't touch anything that's not whole food. I'm not going to put that poison in, but she's an alcoholic and will drink until she's under the bed.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's amazing.
And doesn't get the connection. It's like, how can you put that poison in your body, but you won't put a
Well, it's like
hamburger in
Bob. It's like Bob said a week or 2 weeks ago today. Remember we were talking? He said alcohol is poison to the flesh.
Yeah.
It's poison, and whoever it was, well, I suppose it was the accuser, somehow made sure we understood that it was mother's milk for an alcoholic. It wasn't poison.
And I can't forget the obsession. For me, it was that killer obsession.
Yeah, just going around and around in your head.
Yes, constantly, 24 hours a day. That was my life.
But you didn't drink during the day.
When I had the opportunities, I would.
Okay,
You know, like
martini
during-
lunches?
Yeah, martini lunches or something,
Okay.
but not every day. But although, I only worked 8 hours a day, so at 5 o'clock, it was happy hour. That was every day.
What was your favorite bar to go to?
They probably don't even exist right now. I used to go to Babe's a lot. Remember Babe's restaurant?
Sure.
Yeah.
All right, Dave is our guest today, and he is a retired firefighter and nurse, been a Des Moinesian all of his life, has been sober for 4 years. At age 58, he decided to put the plug in the jug. We'll find out why and how a little bit later. You said that your wife, what was she? Did she ever put her foot down?
She tried to put her foot down.
And you didn't allow it.
And I didn't allow it. She was a manager and a controller, and she was going to fix me. Mm-hmm. And she tried everything under the sun to try and fix me. And finally, she almost gave up. She did give up. You know, for all intents and purposes, she gave up. And so it was at that point when things really came to a head, and I decided I better make a decision.
And I want to talk about that period of time. How long was it from the time that you realized it was a problem and that the light at the end of the tunnel was beginning to blind you in the eyes?
Well, I met her in 1974, thereabouts, and so my disease had already become rampant. And it was from that point until about 2010.
Wow.
It was nothing but drinking and using and sneaking and lying and everything that comes with it. 36 years.
She has a lot of patience, because I bet on some level she knew. I mean, as much as you were lying, I'm just telling you because I've been on that end of it myself. And
she knew.
You know something's wrong. You may not know exactly what it is.
Exactly. Yeah.
But instead, you kind of make up other stories in your head.
Yeah.
So yeah.
But you said you were lying, though. Did you lie to her about your drinking?
Oh, all the time. Yeah.
Did she think you weren't drinking? Did you tell her you weren't drinking?
I told her I wasn't drinking, but I can't believe that she didn't smell it. She knew I was drinking.
Yeah.
You know, she'd find bottles here and there, and then she'd go on a situation where she would start looking for pain pills. You know, so she knew I'd have to have some someplace.
Dave's my guest. Lila's my co-host. I'm Mac. Thanks for listening. This is Recovery Monday, brought to you by the good folks at Powell CDC. You know somebody. You know Lila. You know me. Reach out. We'll get you the help you need. We're coming back.
From the RE/MAX Real Estate Concept Studios, this is Webcast One Live.
I'm Brian Leach, owner of Service Legends, and my position is Chief Talent Officer.
I'm Nicholas Wonderscheid.
I am Bernie Hobbs.
And I'm the Service Manager.
Marketing Director and Client Relations Manager.
Everything that we do is about ensuring that we exceed your expectations.
Our clients are important to us. 100% satisfaction.
We're not just focused on heating and cooling. That's the easiest part of our job, actually, is fixing furnaces and air conditioners.
Everyone that we come in touch with, we want to improve lives.
Bottom line is, we've got our installation guarantees, 25% energy savings guarantee, comfort guarantee, temperature selection guarantee, property protection guarantee.
100% satisfaction guaranteed. Fixed rate or it's free.
All of those guarantees are backed up with a 100% money-back guarantee to hold ourselves accountable to making sure that you get what you're after.
Just fix them problem today. If they have another problem 5 days down the road, it's still fixed rate or it's free.
We use what's called straightforward pricing. Our technicians are going to give you an exact to-the-penny price on what it's going to take before they move forward with any repair. That way you know what to expect.
It's the same price every day.
No surprises.
If you get off work at 5 o'clock in the afternoon, you come home, you realize that, oh, my furnace is broken. Now you need to call somebody out that night. You shouldn't have to pay more for that.
We're guaranteeing service 24/7.
We run afternoons, evenings, nights, weekends. We're staffed to work that.
Phone rings at 3 in the morning. You'll get one of our representatives answering the phone every time.
We're not sending you out to Timbuktu in some call center. It's our Service Legend team members, our mission control team.
I'll take a call anytime.
And then they answer the phones the same way during the day as they do at night.
It's a great day at your service company. How can we make you smile?
That's the only way to provide true 24-hour service.
When you're able to let somebody actually live in their home safely when they weren't able to do that before, where they don't have to stay up at night and worry about, is the heat going to come back on? Are we going to freeze the pipes? Is the baby in the room next door going to be sick because they got too cold? When you're able to help somebody overcome challenges like that, that's impacting a life. That makes a difference. I get goosebumps thinking about it.
I love the team. I love the people that I work with.
We have fun, but we work hard.
I call them my ambassadors of legendary service. If you could just envision what that is, that's who we're sending to your home.
They literally will call in, pick up the phone and call and say, hey, I want to talk to your manager. And I get on the phone, they're like, that technician that was at my house was the greatest technician ever. That's cool to me.
We want to brighten people's days.
Every person that we have going into the house has gone through an extensive background check.
Drug testing, we have a very thorough interview process that 1 out of 140 people make it through.
If we promise you something, that's what you're going to get, no matter what.
We're here when you need us to protect the safety and comfort of your family.
If you're not happy, we're going to make it right.
If we're willing to put 100% money back guarantee on what we do, what type of work do you think we do?
Give us a call. We're there for you 24/7, 365 days a year.
Enough said.
Restoring hope, open my heart to sing, taking the darkness inside, revealing your light, restoring hope.
22 minutes for the top of the hour. Salem Radio Network News at the top, and then Michael Mudloff, Westkirk Presbyterian Church, and True Blue. You've heard me say this. I probably won't stop talking about it for, I don't know, till I'm like 900 years old, me and Methuselah. But this radio station, through the grant of the Federal Communications Commission, has been allowed to expand our coverage. We will still be heard where you're listening to us, no matter where you are. But we're going to go from about 220,000 potential listeners to about 1.3 million. The FCC has granted us an incredible opportunity, and we will cover most of central Iowa. We've got a new lineup that comes with that, and the lineup will start probably about a month before we go live. Next week at this time, this program will be Steve Deace Live. Steve will be live from 3 to 5 every afternoon right here on The Truth, 99.3. Lila and I and Frank and Bob and all of us will be 1 hour previously. We're the opening act for The Big Shoe, and that'll be from 2 to 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Prior to me will be Ask Dr. Brown, and prior to that will be Michael Mudloff from Westkirk Presbyterian Church, and prior to that, Jay Seklow. So from 11 in the morning until 6 in the afternoon, we will have live call-in, what we call social commentary, and then the rest of the night and into the morning will be preaching and teaching. Some of the best preachers and teachers from across our country right here on The Truth, 99.3. So keep tuned. Next week, the schedule's going to change a little bit. It'll take you a little time to get used to that. I know that, and I'm okay with that. We'll keep reminding you. If you're on Facebook, friend me. If you're not on Facebook, you might think about doing it. I got a lot of friends who are on Facebook, and they never post a thing. They never post a thing, but they watch, and they watch, and they watch. And they know what's going on with all their friends, but they choose not to post anything, and so that's perfectly fine with us. All right, my co-host, of course, is Lila Stafford. She is a counselor at Powell CDC and counselor.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, you're more than just a counselor, though.
No.
Kind of a program director, aren't you?
No, I'm a counselor, but I'm in charge of aftercare.
Aftercare,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, okay. And so you know somebody from Powell, 263-2424. If you've been listening to this program long enough, or maybe today's the first day and you realize, oh, my wife, she sounds like she does what Dave does. And I guess I knew that it was an alcohol or a pill issue. I just didn't want to admit it. But now I've heard somebody else say it. And the good Lord just kind of pops you like little rabbit foo-foo, just kind of pops you on the top of the head. And you go, oh, I need to do something. But who do I call? If I call somebody, do they come with little men in white coats and drag my husband away? Or my pastor or my friend? What do I do? I don't know what to do. Well, now you do know what to do. 263-2424. Call, ask for Lila, ask for Kim, ask for anybody down there, and you will get help. Help like you've never gotten it before. Specialized, professional caretakers who know that this is a disease and it has to be treated as such. Caring, loving, nurturing people to take care of you and the patient, because you're both the patient in this time of need. My guest today is Dave. He is 62 years old, former firefighter and nurse, and he spent a better than 30 years of his life drinking every day. And we're kind of coming to the end of that. At what point? Now you got sober in March of 11.
Mm-hmm.
What happened? What happened that you finally said, I got to do something about this?
God's grace shone through. That I know happened. Now, to explain that, it's very difficult to do. But I had, or my wife actually had reached a point where she no longer was going to try and fix me. She gave me an ultimatum, either, get sober or end the marriage and lose the family. And I was on the verge of losing my job. I had become so inhibited that I dismissed all my friends, all my family, didn't want to talk to anybody. I felt like the world was coming to an end, literally, for me. And I was never, I never contemplated suicide, but I wish that I could have died.
Yeah.
The emptiness, the desperation that I felt is unimaginable. I knew I had to give it up, and I didn't know how to live with it or without it. And that was a horrible, horrible place to be.
That is such a powerful statement. I didn't know how to live with it or live without it.
Mm-hmm.
That's what alcohol does to you.
Absolutely.
It's
Absolutely.
what you've just described is the progression of alcoholism, and people isolate. They become isolated and no longer involve themselves with anybody, and that is a perfect example of that.
Yeah.
Now, we didn't ask before. How many children?
I have 2 grown children.
All right, grandchildren?
And 1 grandchild and 1 on the way.
Okay.
Yeah.
If I had your kids sitting here, did they know Dad drank?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. They lost complete confidence in their dad.
Yeah.
They had no trust in their dad.
Were you a different person when you drank? I mean, did you turn mean or anything like that?
I wasn't really mean. I was just carefree and didn't give attention to where attention should be given. And I didn't do anything with the family. I didn't want to have dinners with them. I didn't want to just do the basics, that people do.
So now you have a chance to do that with the grandchildren.
No, absolutely.
Yeah.
And what a blessing that is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So you are drinking every day. Your wife's given up on you. You don't want to live with it anymore. You can't figure out how to live without it. Was there a moment? Was there an incident? Was there something that we would call your bottom in which you decided, I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired. I'm done. Right now, I'm done. It's March what, and you're done?
It was March 11th when I remember I had some leftover pills, and I had a couple bottles stashed. And I remember grabbing them and looking at them, and right then and there I was thinking about, finishing off the bottle and finishing off the pills. And I asked for God's grace. I asked for God's help. I was alone, and about 5 minutes later the phone rang, and it was my son. And he asked me what I was up to, because actually I was supposed to be at work that day, and I was not at work.
Because of alcoholism?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And he asked me what I was doing. He said, "You don't sound right. What's the matter?" He came over. Instead of me taking the pills and the bottles and hiding them, for future use, I left them out. And he saw them. And he says, "This is it. No more." And it was like, that was a sign from God for me.
Yeah, I would say
just
so.
Just the fact that the phone rang.
Yeah, I would say so.
Yeah. And it was that very day that I, made the decision to go one day at a time, because it was like 1 hour at a time for me. I was desperate.
Yeah.
I was desperate.
One commercial break at a time.
Yeah.
I remember in the beginning, because I'd watch TV while I drank, because I couldn't have anything that I had to, communicate with. I mean, I spend my life talking and communicating with people, but when I'm drunk, I don't communicate well. Forget slurring my words. I'm just an idiot.
Right.
So I'd watch TV all day because I didn't have to talk back to it.
Sure.
And the commercial breaks was a chance for me to go pour another drink. And I remember when I first got sober, and and I don't remember the first, but I remember the first, 60, 70 days, 80 days, just every commercial break. It just seemed like an eternity.
Yeah.
So did your son take you anywhere?
He took me to an AA meeting.
Okay.
That very night. And I had been exposed to AA quite a bit prior to that time. So I wasn't totally unfamiliar with it, but I was totally devastated and felt worthless that I had to go into a meeting and once again say, I messed up. And that was the beginning of the new.
That was the beginning of the new. That's what happened.
So many people feel that way at meetings, that they have to admit it. But if you know how much it helps other people.
Yeah, it was tremendous. Yeah. Tremendous.
And we're going to hear about the tremendous as we move forward with Dave right here on Recovery Monday, brought to you by Powell CDC.
A father who is headed toward another heart attack. A woman who struggles daily with diabetes and her memory. A boy whose headaches keep him out of school. A mother who one morning discovers a lump. A girl whose condition defies diagnosis. You come to us because you need answers, but you also need more. You need understanding of what you're going through. You need comfort. You need to be treated as an individual, not a condition. You need to be included in your own care. You are the point of everything we do. That's why we're changing to Unity Point Health. It's a model of care that will help us work better together, where the physician who knows you best takes the lead, coordinating your care through every step, from the hospital to specialists to rehabilitation to health services in the home and in the community, to making sure the treatments are effective. By working as a team, we surround you with care, helping you manage your health and your conditions, guiding you to making better choices and living a healthier life. The point of Unity is you. Unity Point Health.
Credit cards are like grandkids. They love you, sometimes get out of control, and it's fun to get a new one. Who can stop them from piling on?
Hi, I'm Tom Coates with Consumer Credit of Des Moines. At the end of the day, you can give these grandkids back, but you're stuck paying off bad credit card debt. We can help you put the fun back into using credit cards responsibly. Right, kids?
Yeah! If you need help getting credit cards off your back, call Consumer Credit of Des Moines.
From the RE/MAX Real Estate Concept Studios, this is Webcast One Live.
Restoring hope, open my heart to sing, taking the darkness inside, revealing your light, restoring hope.
Restoring Hope Live, part of Recovery Monday, brought to you by the good folks at Powell CDC. You know somebody. You know somebody. You know somebody. Was it one of those weekends with Dad? One of those weekends with the neighbor, with your son, your daughter, with someone? Just can't take it anymore? You've given it all the tough love you can. You don't want to reject them. You don't want to turn your back on them. But you can't take it. The kids can't take it. The family can't take it. And somehow God brought you to this radio program today. What do you think? What do you know? What do you think? Miracle? Maybe just miracle? Call somebody. Call the folks at Powell, 263-2424. Call me. Facebook me. Just whatever you need to do. I'm here for you. This is my mission. The 12th step in the AA program is now that we've come, help me with this, now that we've come to a spirit, having had a spiritual experience. Well, basically, do you know it verbatim?
Yeah.
Give it to me.
Having had a spiritual awakening, I'm stage fright, so I can't remember.
All right. But basically, it says we're going to turn around and start helping people. In other words, the end of our process is the beginning of our process. Once we have now figured out, at least a little bit, on how it's impacted us and how we can stay away from that bottle, now we're challenged. We're challenged to go out and help others. And that's what we do. We don't hide in the background. We don't, most of us talk about it. We're free to talk about it. You don't think I'm embarrassed when I go to a church of I don't know how many thousands of people, and every single one of them know I was a drunk. And proud to say I was. Operative word, was. Because now I'm here to help you. It's my mission from God. Me and John Belushi. It's our mission from God. Elrod. Our mission from God. All right, so your son came over. Was your son involved with the 12-step program?
No.
But he just knew that that's where you needed to go.
He knew I had been to AA previously.
Okay.
And he saw the progress that I had made when I was in AA at one time.
Had you ever quit?
And not completely.
Okay.
Not completely. I went a little while longer with the booze than with the pain pills. The pain pills were more secretive, and I was able to get away with it longer.
Sure.
You know, that was because that was my disposition.
Yeah.
I did nothing but lie and deceive people to make sure I had what I needed.
Yeah. Which, by the way, is a characteristic of a alcoholic and drug user.
Absolutely.
You know what one of the characteristics of someone with blue eyes is? Blue eyes.
Yeah.
One of the characteristic of someone who is addicted, they're liars. Sorry.
Mm-hmm.
And really, we're sinners who happen to tell a lie. Because one of the things we learn through this program is to reach to a higher power, which I call Jesus.
Correct.
But still to reach out of ourselves and say, I can't do this anymore. I'm going to hand this off. Not put it off, not throw it away, not take responsibility for it, but just hand it off.
And I took the word "I" out of my vocabulary.
Okay.
Because I thought that I could do this thing
Oh,
alone.
yeah.
Watch me. I'm different. You know, you don't understand.
Oh,
and
everyone feels that way.
yeah, and it's a terrible feeling to know you're saying that, but yet you know that isn't true.
And the fear, I mean, when you're on those pills, the pain pills, the fear of not having them is so great.
Oh, it's tremendous.
That you will lie. You'll do anything to get them.
You think the pills or the alcohol was stronger of an addiction?
That's difficult to say.
Okay.
It really
Opiates
is.
are very hard to come off of.
Yeah, it was difficult.
All
Very
right,
difficult.
so your first sponsor, same guy now?
Same guy now.
What did he tell you in the beginning that shocked you, rocked you, made you say, okay, I got the right guy?
Actually, he was the one who first showed up at my house when I had no idea who he was or who he came with. Came with a couple guys, and we've been friends ever since. And you know, there was a period of time when I used him. He knew what my record was. He knew I was continuing to use, but he stuck by me.
Yeah.
He never, ever, he has never given up on me. When I gave up on myself, he never did. And to this day, he's remains my sponsor.
Yeah. Did you ever want to fire him?
No, he's a pretty big guy, so I never really wanted to give him any.
Did you ever get
any
mad at him?
guff. Oh yeah, plenty of times, especially when he would tell me the truth about where I was at, when I couldn't accept where I was at.
I have somebody that's mad at me today for that.
Yeah.
Because you told them the truth?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they don't want to hear it?
Well, they know it's true. They just don't want to accept. That's a terrible feeling.
Yeah.
It really is.
Yeah, because you're turning right, you're turning left, you're looking up, you're looking down, you're spinning around trying to find a way out.
Well, I was
and there is no way out.
Yeah, they're right. And I was so deluded that this is the way I thought at one time, that if I tried to play the game hard enough and long enough, maybe it'll be okay for me to continue to use. That's how deluded I was.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty deluded.
I'm in a big book study, and I don't remember exactly what page we're on now, 160, 170, but it's the story about the guy that thought he could just go into the bar and have 3.
Yeah.
He just had 3, and that was it.
Yeah.
Oh, that's what I used to tell myself.
Yeah, just have 3, and that was it. And that started him on another binge.
Yep.
So, Dave, tell me what your life is like now. Your marriage better?
It's night and day.
Okay.
We've been married 40 years, and we've never been happier.
Good.
And we have been through some god-awful things because of this disease.
Yeah. We're going to call her St. Julie, by the way.
Yeah,
if
we
that's
should
okay.
call her St. Julie.
All right,
she
good.
deserves it.
Yeah.
And, you know, she never, ever gave up on me except towards the end there. And I think she did that out of desperation to say, look, you know, I want you to get help. This is what you got to do. But I enjoy a trustful, meaningful relationship with my kids now. And that took all of 4 years. I can tell you that.
Yes.
Yeah, it doesn't happen overnight.
No, it does not. And, you know, and to this day, to this very day, you know, you can tell, still in the back of their mind, you know, where I came from.
Yeah.
And it's always in the back of my mind, too.
Yeah.
Because I never want to.
It's a little scar on their heart, you know?
Yeah, it is. And that hurts. That always will hurt.
Does it ever heal, Lila?
No.
I don't think it does.
To this day, I will never trust my husband like I did at the beginning.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's just the way it is.
It's just the way it is. You're right. You're right.
And what advice do you have for somebody who's listening right now who knows somebody who is exactly where you were?
Well, what I've always thought of is pride. Let go of the pride because you worry about who's going to find out or who I got to talk to and this and that. Go get help and just be honest. Just be honest. The key is wanting help.
Yes.
You've really got to want this thing because it's work. It's work.
Yeah, you're not going to do it if you don't want it.
That's right.
Yeah, and here's the other thing for you listening. If you know somebody who's an alcoholic, they won't do it for you. And you don't want them to do it for you.
That's right.
They got to want it for themselves. And until they do, no cop, no judge, no program is going to change their mind.
But the cop, the judge, the wife can get them into treatment or on that road and as an alternative. And once they're in there working the program, then they learn to love themselves enough to do it.
Dave, thanks for being here. I appreciate it very much. You did a great job. Love to St. Julie and all your kids. Lila, thanks for being here. We'll see you next Monday, 2 o'clock, not 3. And until I see you then, do me a favor. Think of somebody you need to forgive, that you just hold on to that resentment so tight. Tonight, on your knees, forgive them. And that's how you shall be forgiven. I'll see you in church.
Restoring hope.